Happy Friday, second graders. This is Dr. Muchler with your SEL lesson. I hope you've had a good week. Hope you enjoyed your e-learning, and I hope you've been using your skills we've been learning in our lessons together. Right now, we're focusing on problem-solving skills. So if there's ever a time where things aren't working out the way you would like them to, I hope you remember the 4 steps to problem solving, and the way you can remember that is to remember the word step. Remember, the first thing we do is say the problem without blame. Remember that magic question, what do I want or need? Or if you're having a problem with others, what do we want or need? T, think of solutions. A solution is what we use to solve a problem. This is the brainstorming step. You're going to think of as many ideas as you can to solve that problem. Then we move to E. That's the if-then step, where we think to ourselves, if I use this solution, then, well, we hope the solution will be one that's safe, we think it'll work, and it's respectful to everyone. And then P, of course, is the last step, and we will pick the best solution and try it and hope it works. Remember also, before you problem solve, you also need to use your calming down skills. Calming down skills help you think clearly. If you're all worked up, you can't think clearly. So remember, tell yourself to stop, think about how you're feeling, and use a strategy to calm down. Get your thinking brain back, and you'll know that thinking brain's back when your body feels calm. Today, we're going to focus on a problem that unfortunately happens more than we would like, and that's when somebody is being excluded. Excluded means being left out. Sadly, we see that in all kinds of situations. Certainly at school we see that, although that's the last thing we want to have for any student. It can happen in your neighborhood, even in your own family. You might feel excluded as others are playing, and maybe a brother or sister is telling you to go away, that they don't want you to be part of that game that's being played. This is not a good feeling, and it's really not a respectful situation either. So in those situations, we can use our problem-solving skills. If we're one who notices someone's being excluded, that there are things we can do. Specifically, remember those skills we've talked about already: empathy and assertiveness. Remember, empathy is your ability to understand how someone else is thinking and feeling in a given situation. So think about, what would a person feel like when they're being excluded? Think from your own experiences. Sadly, we've probably all experienced this at one point in our life. Think about how it feels sad, it feels lonely, and it's not a positive feeling. And hopefully with empathy, we'll understand how important it is to help that person not feel that way. We can use our assertiveness, which is telling others how we're thinking or feeling in a calm, respectful way, by letting others know how important it is to include everybody, and say things such as, let's let that person join us in this game, or how do you think you would feel if somebody left you out? All those skills together can help us work with the problem of when someone is excluded. I thought today the best way I'd like to share this lesson is through one of my favorite books that does such a good job in telling the story of someone being excluded and how another friend steps up and uses empathy and assertiveness skills to help that boy not feel excluded. I'd like to share with you the book now, called The Invisible Boy.
The Invisible Boy by Trudy Ludwig, illustrated by Patrice Barton. Can you see Brian, the invisible boy? Even Mrs. Carlotti has trouble noticing him in her classroom. She's too busy dealing with Nathan and Sophie. Nathan has problems with what Mrs. Carlotti calls volume control. He uses his outside voice inside too much. Sophie whines and complains when she doesn't get her way. Nathan and Sophie take up a lot of space. Brian doesn't. When the bell rings for recess, Micah and JT take turns choosing kids for their kickball teams. The best players get picked first, then the best friends of the best players, then the friends of the best friends. Only Brian is left, still waiting and hoping. JT glances in Brian's direction and just as quickly looks away. "We've got enough players for each team," he tells the others. "Let's play ball." In the cafeteria, Madison and her friends talk about her birthday party. "The rope swing over the pool was awesome," says JT. "Yeah, so was a water slide," adds Fiona. "That was the best pool party ever." "I'm so glad you guys had fun," says Madison. Everybody did except Brian. He wasn't invited. At choosing time, while the other kids play board games and read, Brian sits at his table, doing what he loves to do best. He draws fire-breathing dragons scaling tall buildings, space aliens locked in intergalactic battles, greedy pirates digging for treasure, and superheroes with the power to make friends wherever they go. On Monday morning, Mrs. Carlotti introduces Justin, a new student, to the class. Brian smiles shyly at him. Some of the other kids sneak looks at Justin, trying to figure out if he's cool enough to be their friend. They haven't quite made up their minds yet. At lunch, Madison and JT watch Justin eat with chopsticks. "What's that?" asked Madison as she points at Justin's food. "It's bulgogi." What?" "Bulgogi. It's Korean barbecued beef. My grandma made it for me. It's really good. Do you want to try some?" "There's no way I'd eat bulgogi." And the kids laugh. All of them. That is, except Brian. He sits there wondering which is worse, being laughed at or feeling invisible. The next day, when Justin goes to his cubby to put away his backpack, he notices a piece of paper with his name on it. "Justin, I thought the bulgogi would look good." Brian, "Yum." At morning recess, Brian finds a piece of chalk on the ground and starts drawing away. "You're Brian, right?" "Yeah." "Thanks for the note." "Hey, Justin," Emilio calls out from the tetherball court. "You're up next." "Sorry, I gotta go," says Justin. "By the way, that's a really cool drawing," he adds before taking off. Back in class, Mrs. Carlotti asks the kids to team up in 2s or 3s for a special project. The kids scurry around the room to pair off. Brian heads toward Justin. "I'm all ready with Justin," says Emilio. "Find someone else." Brian looks at the floor, wishing he could draw a hole right there to swallow him up. "Mrs. Carlotti said we can have up to 3 people in our group. We're only 2. Come on, Emilio. Let him work with us." "Okay, I guess." Mrs. Carlotti gives the class directions for the project. "Your assignment is to work together to write a story about what you see in that photograph. Use your imagination and have fun." "Whoa, cool," says Emilio. "What kind of people do you think would live in houses like that?" "I don't know, but I bet Brian could draw them to go with our story," says Justin. Brian smiles as he takes out his lucky pen. And they're working away. Look at all those cool drawings Brian's doing. Looks like they're having fun, too. It's lunchtime again. Brian's least favorite part of the day. Another 20 long minutes of kids talking and laughing with everyone else but him. "Brian," he hears someone shout. "Hey, Brian, over here." Brian turns and sees Justin waving him over. Emilio nods at Brian as he makes room for him at the table. "Cookie?" "Thanks." maybe, just maybe, Brian's not so invisible after all.
Boys and girls, I hope you enjoyed the story of the invisible boy. It really has a good message and fits in well with our lesson today about how important it is to do something when we see someone else being excluded in a situation. Justin is just the kind of friend that I hope we all can be, one that shows empathy and one who shows assertiveness in situations where another is being excluded. Even though he was the new student, he noticed right away how Brian was excluded, and he made efforts to be a friend to him because he knew it's a lonely and sad experience to be excluded. He also used his assertiveness skills when he told the other boys to let Brian be part of their project and to include him at lunch. So next time you're in a situation where you see somebody being excluded, let's use those empathy skills and assertiveness skills and tell others how important it is to include and to think about what it would feel like to be excluded. Now, before I close for today, as you all know, sadly, we won't be together the rest of the school year, but I'll be with you in the month of May as well, continuing your SEL lessons on Friday. And also, as I've stated in the other lessons, please, if there's anything on your mind, questions or things that are concerning you, or you just want to visit with me about, please reach out to me through my email at lmuchler@byron226.org. I wish you a good week, and I'll see you next Friday. Take care.